Renekton banned out for Dragonborns, Jarvan for Gambit, and Kale the final ban for DB.
Yeah, and that's going to leave up Zed pretty much for anyone. I wonder if Dragonborns is going to first pick that. Zed has been a huge trend towards this. If they don't pick it, you know Gambit will get it on their way back around.
Yeah.
This last ban, I'm really not sure what they're going to be going. I heard earlier my crystal ball has been damaged. It got held up in customs, actually, which is why my picks have been so bad today.
You should have packed it in your hand luggage, Jack. Checking those stuff in, it's never going to be good for a crystal ball. Gragas, the final ban, obviously. They know how Shushi is, and you saw Dragonborns actually laughing there when they banned Gragas.
Yeah, I wonder why they would laugh about something like that. Alex is kind of a Gragas player, but it's like, all right, I don't.
They're not laughing anymore.
Because they got the Thresh Prince.
Got Thresh. Yeah.
But honestly, this went the way Dragonborns wanted it to. They got Zed. It was their first pick they wanted to get. The Shushi ban would be against Gragas, and I think I figured out the last. Shushi's last game on Gragas wasn't that great. They're just like, ha, I didn't even do well with that champion, and they banned it.
Yeah, and they played that Gragas in a very specific composition as well. That whole dispersion comp that they were running with earlier on in that game against Fnatic. But it's going to be Thresh and Elise picked in there. We've seen Darian yesterday on Elise. We've also seen, well, the Thresh Prince on the Thresh Prince on Thresh plenty of times.
Nice. And Darian, well, no, sorry, Edward was the first one to pick up Thresh. Edward and Thresh. He was the first one to pick that one up, and it's coming back around. So Dragonborns did have a pretty strong game with Jin Zhao the last time. We saw Jin Zhao in that absolutely crazy game as well, so that's a good dive combo with Zed.
Yeah, I'm wondering what Gambit are going to go for the jungle. You'd probably be expecting a Volley Bear to come out here. Diamond been playing that one a lot. Or a Nasus, of course. Nasus is still there. Are
the available things. And also, Alex Each on Kha'Zix could very well be a real thing. His Kale has been banned out. His Zed has been taken by the enemy. He does have other mids, like they do have last pick, so he could wait on something like a Kassadin, but it's already against a Zed, so Kassadin would be right into a counter pick.
Yeah.
If they want to pick their AD carry here, they very well can. They could get something like Misfortune if they wanted to pick that up, or even Varus, who's been picking up so much steam. So they have a lot of options here, and I think a lot of strong options as well.
And you can see that Alex is looking a million times happier than we saw him yesterday. Obviously, he had a very stone-cold face on the second game. Obviously, not happy about that loss to Fnatic earlier in the day. They turned it around, though, beating SK for our final game last night. But it is going to be a Misfortune again. A strong pick in there for Genja. Now, Sivir, is that something that Hosan's got up his sleeve?
I hope it is, because I've been talking to all the AD carries I can get my hands on this week, and I've been like, why don't people play Sivir? Because Sivir is kind of good. Her laning is not as weak as people make it out to be, is what I've been getting. And the utility in teamfights is so huge. Also, the fact that Hosan was telling me that they were going to cheese the crap out of Gambit. I don't know if they've decided against it since they got a first pick Zed, but something absolutely crazy could come out. Like maybe, and keep in mind, I do not have my crystal ball here. It's been damaged.
Broken.
So this is total conjecture. Maybe you would see Yamoto Cannon playing Zed, Shushi playing something like Sivir mid, and then also them having an AD carry. But that is crazy talk.
Yes, it is.
I wanted to try.
If you'd have come off there, it would have been like, he doesn't need no crystal ball from this one. But it will be Sivir, nonetheless, locked in. And there is a Lux pickup for that middle lane. Edward has Teemo. It's the final game here in Lille. We're not going to see Teemo.
No, but that Evelyn pick actually excites me a little bit. Alex has played a lot of Evelyn in the past. I think it's that or Kha'Zix. It's going to be their decision between a double AP or the reset assassination comp with Kha'Zix. He has another 30 seconds list. Nope, he stopped it. He went Evelyn.
It was played into the crowd there. They were, but yeah, it's going to be an Evelyn. As you said, Alex Hitch has been a big Evelyn player in the past.
Right, so I'm looking at Gambit Gaming's composition, and because Darian played Elise yesterday and was pretty good with it, they do look like they're on comfortable champions once again. Like the teams that have been able to get on Gambit Gaming's nerves and actually beat them have either picked away their champions and also banned them. But at this time, the only Gambit Gaming champion you see on the other side is the Zed. Everything else is what Gambit loves playing. They got like a 30 or 40 champion roster that they have, and very few of those are on Dragonborn's side. So Gambit looks comfortable. You look at Dragonborns, it is the Zed top, so that's going to be a battle and a half for Darian. I do think Gambit has much better team fight potential and flexibility with this team comp, because Dragonborns really just has to win the lanes.
Yeah, and we have to talk here about the league table and how that currently stands. Of course, Gambit lost their first place position yesterday with their loss against Fnatic. Fnatic have won another game since then. We just saw it in the previous one here. So they have to keep up, basically, is what Gambit are trying to do with this victory. Dragonborns, though, they've slumped because of the defeat and because of Copenhagen Wolves doing so well this weekend. They've slumped down into the bottom position in the table. Hosan looking slightly scary there.
He was not happy about their position, actually, when I was talking with him off air on the desk. He wasn't happy that Copenhagen Wolves had jumped past them in this lineups, and the fact that if they lose this, they are essentially tied for last place in the league. So there is a lot on the line, considering they just made roster changes, and to come out after roster changes and potentially go 0-3 is not a good sign or a happy place to be.
Yeah, that's not where they want to be, that's for sure. Well, it's not where anyone wants to be, honestly. Those bottom two, we talked about it a lot this weekend as we get towards, slowly but surely, the playoff time here of the EU LCS. And bottom two spots are the spots you want to avoid. At all costs, you don't want to be there. Ideally, 3 through 6 you want to avoid if you can, but sadly, that's not really an option for a lot of these teams.
It's a bit of a dream scenario. It's like, well, in a perfect world, we're number one. It's like, really, that's what you want to do. You want to be top in the standings. And we know what type of teams they're going to be going up against. Like Dragonborns, if they're popping in 7 and 8, there's a really good chance they're going to have to beat either alternate or Meet Your Makers, who we saw way long ago at the start of the day. MYM looked so impressive with that start finals, and that's the kind of stuff that these guys are going to have to face in, I think, like 5 or 6 weeks whenever promotion relegation happens, but not long from now.
Yeah, it looks like Gambit just had a small screen bug there. If you didn't already realize, you've probably seen pictures of it already. A lot of their players actually playing a tiny window in the middle of these massive LCD screens.
Yeah, Gambit Gaming plays in like 800 by 640 resolution. It's just so they're comfortable in all these things. And look at this super early teleport by Shushay to get the ward in position. There's your level 1 cheese right there. I don't know what they're going to do with it.
Yeah, what are they going to do with it? That's the real question to this follow-up. I mean, always good to get in there. Gambit will be thinking, well, they've not come in to put a ward down, so maybe we're free to be in this area, as Diamond stood right on top of it there just to kind of prove the point. He was a pink ward battle, which is quickly lost by Dragonborns there with Edward coming in. But they're going to have no idea about that single ward in Diamond's position.
Yeah, especially since they won the pink ward battle. Gambit assumes that they race to the tri-brush. They have no idea Shushay burned his teleport. This could be very good. If they land the binding on Diamond, he only has Ghost too, so he can't get away.
Here we go. There is the binding. Can they get him for the kill? He's going to pop that Ghost to get himself going, but the flash has come in. The Ignite is ticking. One more tick surely will finish him off, and there is first blood. It's picked up by Yamato Cannon.
The level 1 teleport pays off. That is what Dragonborns had planned. Diamond is got to be a little bit angry right now. In the matchup that he is supposed to crush against Dexter, he starts with little jungle control of his own.
Yeah, sad times for Diamond, but you know, a chaotic start for Dragonborns. Very coordinated though, and that's almost a surprise.
But do they overstay their welcome here, because they're still in here, and this is a 5v4. They also burned all their flashes earlier. Gambit could potentially collapse. Alex is flanking too.
Oh, they've managed to get the hook in here on towards Mover, but can they finish up with the damage here? Yes, they can. He's going to die. Alex is going low, but he will flash away and actually will stay alive, at least for now. They're breaking off here, going in different directions. Dexter taking a lot of damage, but Diamond can't quite get in there for the last hits. On the top side, though, Sivir is also being chased. Edward, will he have the hook available? He lands it at max range, brings himself in. Barrier use here. Is that going to be enough to keep him alive? No! Genja gets in for the final shot, and Gambit, after all that, get 2 kills.
And that's one of the reasons Edward calls is now the Thresh King. He's evolved from the Prince. He's matured. Big time plays from Edward. They came right back. They did not care about the Dragonborns tease in that situation, and they realized they'd overstayed their welcome. They head first into 4 people with that 5-man counter invade that Gambit Gaming pulled off, and that is a huge comeback. They are no longer worried about the level 1 cheese that Dragonborns pulled off.
Yeah, and look at the lane switches that we've got going on here. We're going to see Elise in the middle lane here against Lux. Alex going to be bringing Evelyn down into the bottom against Zed, and the AD carry support lanes will take their place in the top. So
this is a little curious for me. I mean, Alex started without armor, but he's laning against Zed. It's going to be a really tough line up early for Alex, because Eva has weak laning, but apparently Alex knows a hell of a lot more about the Zed matchup than I do, because he's trying to bully early with just boots.
Yeah, just boots for Alex Ich, but no, he's quick. He's got that persistent damage of the hate spike coming out there. We'll see if he continues that little bit of pushing that he's been doing as Edward. Again, getting in there up close and personal. We've seen a lot of CS early on for Yamato Cannon. Of course, he did get the first blood as well, and he's bought a load of pots with that one. He's got a ward in there, plus that elixir as well.
Yeah, another strange thing that happens when like both teams get the first blood kind of gold rolling is some people get extra big items. So like Sivir with 4 health potions to go with that Doran's Blade is actually really huge for that 2v2 lane. It means they can take more harass up top and maybe be able to counteract after it.
Well, you see that Edward, he's going to be ramping up those hooks coming into it, and I expect quite a chaotic game from this one. I mean, Dragonborns seem to thrive in that environment. Gambit can be ultra aggressive, sometimes even so to their detriment. So we'll see how this one all works out. Obviously, we've not seen the junglers getting involved as of yet, but after that crazy start, they want a bit of time to farm.
Yeah, and we saw the first glimpse of their over-aggressiveness after they got the first blood. Like, they'd already taken their advantage, and they went for too much. They really bit off more than they can chew. And these summoner spells are still going to be down for another little while. It is a little surprising to me that we didn't see the junglers try to gank afterwards. I think it was because they were so far behind in levels that they wanted to catch up, so their instinct was to go and farm. But all the lanes were down summoner spells, which is exactly what you want for a jungle gank. This Diamond is coming up top, looking for some wither.
Diamond working himself in there. Will he get the wither down? Yes. Onto Hosan this time around. What are they going to do with it? Oh, they get the hook again onto Hosan. He is going to go down. Edward picks up the kill, and he took the tower hits, but he doesn't care about that. That's another kill for Gambit. Great play again.
Really clever use of their spells there. The fact that Wither slowed him down long enough so Diamond could essentially not miss his death sentence created yet another kill, and that's 2 deaths now for Hosan, trying to bring Sivir back a little bit, not working out well early.
Crazy start to this one. If you look at that kill distribution, 1 for Evelyn, 1 for Misfortune, 1 for Thresh as well. We know that Edward likes to pick up those kills. He has no qualms with picking them in there as Alex and Yamato Cannon going to be facing off once again. And I think once Yamato Cannon hits level 6, Alex needs to be very careful.
I think Alex is going to just get out of there when he hits level 6, or they'll pass off the lane to Diamond, because the red elixir still hasn't been popped by Yamato Cannon. And Alex just knows his flash still isn't even up. Maybe he'll try to bait something, but this is a very dangerous bait by Alex if he can make Yamato Cannon go in.
Well, we are going to see Ghost.
Yep, that was a miscommunication. Diamond must have thought Alex baited amazingly well, and it didn't happen. But now we actually see Gambit trying to flank around, but there's 3 people from Dragonborns here.
Oh, how's this one gonna go? Genja is forced to use a cleanse. Edward gets knocked up there. Genja is low, but look at Edward, he's off to the side here. The laser actually will miss. Edward's still under pressure. They're gonna knock them all back, but surely will die from this. It's Hosan that picks up the kill. They're a little bit unlucky there not to have 2.
Edward just missed his flash over the wall. Unfortunately, that could have been a clean escape for them, but if Dragonborns is willing to send 4 people up there and burn a teleport, it's good that they got a kill. They have to take a turret off this as well if they want to make something happen, because Gambit's going to be counter-pushing all the other lanes, and even with that kill, the gold is still pretty even.
Yep, Diamond going to join in here on towards the middle. That top turret will go down. That's the first one here of the game. Evelyn actually had to back away from that bottom one, but there's a big wave of minions in that middle lane, and I think they should be able to take it with them here once they end up going back. Yeah,
Shushie really can't make it back to this lane fast enough. He has no ultimate up to clear the wave either when he gets close. So really, the middle turret has more strategic value than the top turret. So it was a kill for Gambit, or the Gambit gave up, but the fact they got the middle turret means they can now make more plays on Dragon if they send Genja and Edward down bottom shortly.
And they are going to see in the bottom lane of Hosan and Mover going down. I can see that they would probably go into that area, at least coming down this bottom lane as well, get a ward just outside of the red buff. And there's a lot of pinging going on there. They know that that red buff is now available. Will Dragonborns try and invade and take that one away?
That would be one of the craziest things I've seen them do. I mean, they're down a mid-turret too, so if they invaded that one, it would be pretty much near suicide. I don't actually realize, you probably caught how they got the word in there, but Alex fighting Yamato.
Yeah, they're going to go head-to-head with this one. How's it going to go? Alex going very, very low. Actually, we will see Yamato kind of flash in there for the kill. Did use his elixir as well during that encounter, and now Dragonborn's going to turn it on for a dragon.
Yeah, and that's kind of what Gambit opted into. Alex had already been struggling a little bit in that lane. It was 64 to 46, even though Yamato hadn't used his red elixir earlier, and now it does look like a dragon. I mean, look how low Dexter's getting, though. Darian might try to kill him.
Oh, he's going to go in there, and Dexter is actually going to die from that one. Darian did not quite get the dragon, but that's not what he was really looking for. They pick up Dexter, and Darian just backs away from that, but a kill for a dragon. Worth it?
It is worth it. I think Dexter could have played a little safer there and managed to get away. If Dragonborns were to trade tank the dragon a bit better, Dexter wouldn't have been low enough for Darian. He was wanting to stay alive for the smite, because the worst thing is he dies and gives it up to Darian. So contentious decision there, but I still think that is a good play and a positive outcome for Dragonborns.
Blue buff going to be given over here towards Alex Ich. We do now have Sivir down in this bottom lane. Misfortune and Thresh here. Edward and Genja just getting rid of the Wraiths, and we'll see what their next move is. Obviously, top turret hasn't been taken down from their side, so they still got pushing to do in that top lane.
And I don't necessarily think Genja's been that involved after the first few kills. Like, he got the first few kills, but then the 4-man gank that took the turret really threw him off his game a little bit. Like, he should be winning a lot more than 10 minion kills up on Hosan. Hosan got a revenge kill as well on top of that, and now he's off split pushing, so Dragonborns has a bit of a window to try to make something happen, maybe in mid lane, but they're not really taking advantage of it.
So let's have a look down the items here coming out, and honestly, my tongue can't get around the Morellonomicon.
You
there we
and
go.
D-Man
Actually,
both have, that was good.
I don't know if it's an English thing there, but Morellonomicon is somehow just doesn't work with my tongue there.
Morellonomicon just rolls off the tongue for me for some reason. I love that.
It must be an English thing. I don't know. But Shushay has picked that up here at the start, Zed. Obviously, with Yamato cannon after his first blood and that second kill, well on his way now to finishing off that Blade of the Ruined King. Other side, Seeker's Arm Guard for Alex Zevlin. Obviously, that armor is what he's been needing probably the whole time along already.
Yeah, and check out Genji. He's actually went for a pickaxe already. He can only turn that into a Last Whisper later on. It doesn't build into any of the other big components, but it gives him that kind of power spike right now. Hosan had to match him because he didn't want to lose out in duels if he was going pickaxe as well. You see some AD carries do this quite often, and it's just a matter of build paths and different strengths. And I want to see if they end up fighting to see whose pickaxe is better.
Well, Alex is just going in down towards his bottom lane. Let's see if he can sneak himself in there and get the damage done. There is the binding landing onto Darian. Laser going to come through. Actually, he repelled away there. They avoided all the damage. Wild Growth put down onto Shushay, and here comes Hosan. He's popped his ultimate. Can they get in there? Another binding lands on towards Darian, but they don't quite have the damage. Alex Ich has done great protection work there.
And during all this, Gambit has 3 people pushing down mid lane. They get a catch on to Dexter.
The box is down. How is he going to get away from this one? Actually, he has managed to get away from it in the end, but crucially, Gambit going to take the turret. But Yamato cannon pushing top as well.
Everybody's been watching the Zed play this weekend, and they always decide to go split push. They shove so hard, they get farmed up, and then they become dueling masters. But Gambit trying to keep the pressure on. They're losing that top turret, but they're trying to get damage in mid. Hosan is in a weird place right now.
Yeah, they've come right through the backside of the jungle here, and I'm not sure if he's going to be able to get away. Actually, in the end, Genja decides not to chase blindly around that corner as Shushay comes across the binding, going to land on towards Diamond Prox. The lantern is down, and he's actually gone kind of forward, kind of back, and then gets onto it finally. That will bring him straight in, but look at Alex Ich looking typical Evelyn style here to mop up inside of the jungle. Move it was very low. Shushay at half HP can probably kill both of them if he just knew it.
Alex just stalking in the night. He does this on everyone but Evelyn, but Evelyn's kind of like the best at it. He'll always flank around the back of team fights and get in those situations. Couldn't quite find it there. And again, you know, these early games for Dragonborns are good. Like, they can play with everyone in the laning phase. They are doing that with Gambit Gaming right now. They got the dragon, they're even in turrets, they're only down 1 kill, and they're up in gold right now at the start of the game. So, like, yes, Gambit Gaming probably has a stronger teamfight just composition as we move into the later game, but Dragonborns, once again, sticking with the top teams early.
We'll have to see how they progress through, though, and whether they'll end up falling foul of things. Actually, if we look down the CS here, just to kind of compare that, Zed, 106 to the 80 of Evelyn. That's 1,000 gold right now that Yamato Cannon has over Alex Ich. Obviously, different scenarios factor into that with the Dragon and the 2 kills and what have you.
Yeah, the thing to keep in mind with the Zed lane, as Darian actually goes on a Yamoto cannon, and there's the fight.
Yamoto cannon actually turning it around. He fancies his chances here on towards Darian, but I'm not sure about it. Darian gets the upper hand, and that's the kind of fight that Darian loves to have.
He just loves to brawl in the top lane, and they let him fight. So often, Darian gets stuck in those 2v1 situations, and he's managed to get some farm this game. He's got to be super thrilled about being able to go mid lane. He's like, yes, I don't have to deal with the 2v1. I'm going to be victorious, and that's why he's 2-0-1. He's actually best scorer on the team.
Well, right now, it looks like Dragonborns looking to reply here, pushing that middle wave out as the hook is going to land on towards Hosan, and there was very little that happened afterwards.
Yeah, so let's get back to Alex in the bottom lane on Evelynn. Like, he doesn't pick Eve to dominate the laning phase. The fact that he did lose to Yamato Cannon by about 800 gold, as you were saying, isn't the end of the world. Like, that's not that bad for the way he plays Eve. You have to survive the laning phase when you play Evelynn, and even the fact that they put him in the bottom lane and made Elise go mid to get Darian farmed up is the sacrifice Gambit made, and I think they're getting away with it.
Oh, Darian's got to... Yeah, he flashes away from it there. I think he thought he got away, but we've got to be safe, because he would have been dead there if Shushi had caught onto him. The laser would have followed straight up afterwards, and safe play. He
had to be real careful, too, not to give up his 2-kill bounty streak. Plus, he wanted to pick up that Sunfire cape, which he's already got with the Magic Pen, but because they know they burned his flash and Darian went back, Dragonborn's going for this Dragonborn. This is a 4v4. Dragonborns has to be super cautious.
Alex actually going to pull himself back in there with the Lantern. The rest of Gambit starting to rotate around. Shushi coming from there. The sheer presence there, the unpredicted presence of, oh, Evelyn's here, has forced Dragonborns to completely back off from Dragon.
Yeah, a lot of teams, when they're playing against an Evelynn, at least a mid lane Evelynn, is they like over pink ward their regular spots. They put down more pinks than regular wards. But maybe because Evil's bottom, or maybe because Dragonborns just doesn't want to opt into that playstyle and waste money on the wards, they're letting Alex Ich just kind of go wherever he wants. They have no pink wards on the map, so unless he's within the vision range, the stealth detection radius that Evelynn has, he's completely undetectable for Dragonborn. So that does give Gambit Gaming that extra element of surprise.
That Dragon still lives. Wondering who's going to commit to taking that one down. Actually, both junglers do have Smite available. We are seeing Dexter there just helping Hosan to take that red buff over on the other side. Lots of pings going down here onto Diamond. And as I said, those wards in there. Did Edward actually come back here with an Oracle on? I didn't see if he'd actually bought that there. No, he doesn't.
They have not decided to go for the Oracles yet. He actually hasn't even went for his Ruby Sightstone yet. Like, he's very much about getting the gold pretend going. I think Edward's going towards some big items this game if he's not going for that Ruby Sightstone. But again, Dragon version 2, they saw Gendu was off pushing the top lane, and it looks like Dragonborns wants it. Shushe's not in position though, and it's the flank danger once again existing.
They're going to try and stall, I think, here, Gambit, until they get the misfortune over there. But that's a big laser over the top of two of them. Here comes Alex Ich from the side. They're going to pop his W. There is the box down. Mover puts Wild Growth on himself to try and save it. There is the knock-up. Alex Ich flashes it away. He's going to turn and run here. He's going straight in for Hosan, who will go down. That's a double kill. Actually, yeah, it was a double kill there. It was missing it coming up on the screen. That is 4 kills. And will Edward now be able to chase on towards
Dexter? Is up. Can he land it?
Going left, going right. Edward still chasing in onto him. Genja coming in from the side. Oh! There is the hook through the wall blindly, and an ace coming out of Gambit. The Thresh Prince strikes again.
Full prediction, half-second wind-up. Geometric mastery. He snipes him down at the end of that one. That was huge for Gambit. Alex essentially took on 3 people at the start of that fight and still came out with a double kill. He stalled long enough for Genji to get there as well, and Dragonborns are just too low from the Dragon to make that happen. They are now in dire circumstances. Once again, they've taken their early game stalemate and they've lost it. Gambit Gaming made a big play.
Is that the turning point though here, Jack? Is that the moment that could completely throw things off? We see there going back to buy here. I mean, Evelynn just picking up the blue elixir in there as well. Once that spike of power, we've got the locket with Diamond, we've got Sunfire Cape. plus another giant belt for Darian here on Elise. BF Sword, Vamp Scepter, Pickaxes. We are going to see Yamato Cannon completely in trouble here. Actually will get slowed. Can he get away from it? He's going to flash. And wow, another hook coming through the side. This time it doesn't quite land, but Gambit have got what they came here for, and that's the turret.
If Edward had an extendable arm on that Death Sentence, it was completely online. But now, actually, Diamond does have a Zed behind him, but it's a very low health set, and they're pushing mid. This is a bit of a turret trade because Gambit's pushing the other side.
Wow, Diamond actually being focused onto here by Yamato Cannon, will be forced to pop his ultimate. And look at this, Alexic is coming.
Yeah, so this is a 5v3 setup right now. I wonder if Gambit can stall him off because they're giving up a lot of turrets mid for their push bottom lane.
Well, this could be a very interesting turn of events as Alex is going to go in. There's the ultimate. Hosang going low. Wild Growth will save him for now. Laser going to come across. That's half of Alex's HP gone down, and they've not got a kill from it. Diamond having to back away. He finally shut down Yamato Cannon there, and Diamond tries to run away. He's going to get caught in there. Is he going to get finished off, though? He's still running from this one. He is still a tanky dog.
But look at this. While they're stalling, they're getting the inhibitor turrets. Genja and Darian are continuing their push down here, and no one on Dragonborns is getting back. They're all getting harassed.
He actually managed to get the kill there, Diamond, just before he went down, and Gambit are going to be able to take that inhibitor down with them from that top lane. Jack, who came out on top of that one? Surely that's a Gambit win.
Huge Gambit win. So the kills were even, but they do not care about that one because they engaged in a 5v3 and actually got some kills out of it. That is absolutely mental. They only lost that inner middle turret, but they got the top lane inhibitor down for Dragonborns. That opens up so much of the map. That is 6 turrets now that Gambit has taken down. They have also proven that their team fighting is absolutely superior in the fact that that 5v3 didn't even go that badly.
And if you look down Genja's build, he has gone Boots of Swiftness in there as well. He wants that extra pace. Plus, you know, the slow, basically, from Mover that's going to come out there.
Genja just likes doing different stuff. He does Boots of Swiftness on a lot of AD carries. He did it on Kog'Maw the other day as well. And he's one of the, I think he's the only AD carry who runs Ghost as well. He just wants to run away from Dexter when he charges in with Xin Zhao. He's not going to really be able to deal with Yamato Cannon if he actually gets on Misfortune, but Genja will be able to maybe avoid like the third Talon of the 3 Talon strike and get out of the knock-up since he has the Boots of Swiftness, reducing the slow effectiveness.
That's very, very true. Alexic coming here from the bottom side of the jungle. Our Gambit going to go really deep on this one and end up going in underneath the turret. Doesn't look like it, but Alexic is stalking off there towards the side.
Yeah, I feel like if Alex wants to get in this fight, he'd actually kind of have to come in through the base and get around the back of him, because unless Dragonborns runs all the way out and engages on Gambit, Alex will never get the flanking position he needs. He will have that potential to flank with this turret, though, because that is a great back passageway if Dragonborns decides to defend, and they would be asking for trouble if they push out to this turret.
Turret is going to be taken down here. Dragonborns half came out and then realized that they probably can't hang around there. There's a pink ward down, which is, you know, like the garlic against the vampires, I don't know, against Evelyn there. Sat down, Alex actually is like, oh, I don't want to go near that. Puts himself up then back towards that middle lane, and we'll push that one straight through as well. So Edward comes in, collects all the souls, but super minions are starting to come through, and that's something that Dragonborns have also got to keep their eye on.
And with the super minions, I gotta say, Edward's gotten away with not building a Ruby Sightstone. I think he's broken the biggest possible trend, because I think for like 3 or 4 weeks straight in the European LCS, every single support built a Ruby Sightstone. But this game, Edward got the early kills, he went double goal pretend, he's rushed the Aegis of Legion, and he just bought 5 regular wards. So there's no way he's going for the Ruby Sightstone at this point, and he rushed the Aegis. They've gotten to the point where they don't really need the Sightstone wards anyway, so they're in pretty good situation.
So this is a funny thing with that as well, because if we think back to Intel Extreme Masters Katowice, Edward was the only support not building the Sightstone. Then he came into they won that event, by the way. He came into LCS and he was just building it again. And now he seems to have figured out, well, you know, I'm not going to go that way. And look at his items. He's getting rolling in there and it's looking good. He's
rocking the door and shield too, because he builds that so early and then skips the wards from that. But they have the control. No Sightstone, but they got 8 or 9 wards down just in 2 side-by-side lines going towards the Baron Pit. Muvera's going to take about 3 years if he wants to Oracle's clear all the way up into there. Gambit's probably going for this Dragon, like, unless Shushei takes a ridiculous risk and goes for a steal, which he's not because he's fighting super minions. I think Gambit has this Baron absolutely in the bag, Joe.
Yeah, I mean, it's taking Lux a long time to take down Super Minions, that's for sure. And that Baron is going to be finished off there. We saw the smite right at the end. Gambit taking that one without any reply whatsoever. Dragonborns must know that was happening there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like they've got a lot of vision around the map, but the fact that Gambit were missing for so long will kind of give that one away. Certainly now as they walk in towards this middle lane. And obviously no inner turrets left, only in the middle and bottom lane do we have inhibitor turrets left for the taking here for Gambit. And there goes the Cocoon, lands it onto move it. And that's one of the things, I guess, that if they do it again, it could be their go.
At any moment, they're going to be able to go Cocoon to a Thresh Hook. He hooks onto move there. They just decided not to go with that one. I mean, they're just waiting for the right moment. They've already killed 7 of the turrets. They're getting incremental damage down, and if they're patient, they could be, but maybe there's the fight.
Here we go, Dexter actually getting caught there in the Cocoon. Alex Itcher's right in the middle of him as he gets polymorphed up. There comes the bullet time across them. Dexter going low. He will end up going down, and Gambit are going to keep chasing him for this one. Nice live binding on Darian, but the Spider Link chasing Hosan in there actually manages to somehow survive it, as Darian now might get chased out here as well. 1 man down for Gambit, 1 man down for Dragonborns, and they've got that instant healing that they can get back from the fountain. The Baron buff is what Gambit are going to be relying on.
Yeah, Gambit's got to calm down a little bit because they completely overdove that. They could have gotten that turret inhibitor down, but they're over chasing. Everyone on Dragonborns healed up a little bit. Like Genja, what ran actually through the 2 inner Nexus turrets trying to get kills. I mean, the fact that they only got a 1-for-1 despite the reckless aggression shows how freely they can do what they want in this game. They are way ahead despite that misplay.
And we know that Gambit, we heard it in the interviews before, the KDA leader charts. They seem to mean a lot to Gambit. They've said it before that they'll quite happily prolong a game a little bit so they can mop up a few more kills and get them on the board for that one. But really for them, it's about going 2-1 this weekend and keeping up the chase for Fnatic.
They're tied with Fnatic in the losses. They picked up yet another Dragon, and it's time for them to shop because multiple people on their team have 1,900 gold. Genja's got over 2,000. He's going to pop back and get, not sure yet. The Warmog's completed onto Darian, so he's full tank Elise. This is going to be pretty big stuff coming out from Gambit whenever they decide to go in. The middle turret is so low. They have a Runic Bulwark and an Aegis Legion, so they have so many defensive stats coming through as well. They still also have about 115 seconds or so on that Baron buff, so I think another reckless dive could be in the cards.
Why not?
Yep.
If you can do it, if you can afford to pull it off, then why not in the end? As we are going to see the Randuin's Omen, by the looks of things, coming out here for Genja on Misfortune. What else did we have picked up that last time around? Actually, Alex Itch didn't even go back on that one, so I think he's still sat on 1,100 gold, so obviously feeling that's not enough to warrant him going all the way back here as Hosan. Actually eating the Spiderlings with his spell shield, that's actually a pretty cool thing to do.
It's a good counter to that poke, but look at how low the turret is. Darian gets caught by the binding, just decides to repel a little bit, and this turret could go down. If Dragonborns is going to fight, they're going to want to fight on this turret.
There we go, turret goes down. Diamond just comes in there, pretty much just one-shots it with his Q on, and now they focus in onto the inhibitor. Would be the second one to go down, although that top inhibitor has since respawned as well, so that's a bit of relief for Dragonborns, but you have to feel for not very long here as the hook comes out.
Yeah, and once you give up 2 inhibitors, you pretty much give up the third. They've already given up 1. They don't want to fight. They were hoping to land a light binding before this came to be, but they seemingly just have to go.
They've managed to land it in there on towards Edward, but they didn't want to follow up on top of that one here. The inhibitor is going to go down. And all it needs, I feel, is one hook, one Cocoon onto the right target, and Gambit are going to get straight in there on top of him. This bottom lane is pushed a little bit out there, so, well, they probably just tank it up, I don't know, at this point, as they are going to land the hook there onto Move. It gets hit with a Wither, but they, again, don't quite follow up. They weren't so synced with that one. It will be Darian who goes back to deal with the creep wave, but they're going to be going for it here soon.
And now that the inside of Dragonborn's base is essentially hollowed out, it lets Alex flank however he wants. He's still sitting in the lane, but if they have a bit of an extended siege here, I could see him coming around the inside of the base. Like, Dragonborns will also have to deal with super minions very shortly, so maybe they wanted to fight on a turret and not an exposed inhibitor, but please, if you want to stay in the game, Dragonborns, you have to try a fight at least here.
They are going to have to try a fight, but it's got to be with a light binding, I think, at this stage, which Gambit seem to be great at dodging. There is the lantern off to the side, the hook being thrown through by Edward. Genji just trying out, making sure the lantern's still working at this point. And there we go, light binding lands, but it's onto Diamond. Is that really the target they want? Yamato Cannon is going to get hit with the cocoon, but they back away. He's lost half HP in that one. Gambit get closer towards the turret. They're going to go for it. Wild Growth comes down. The box is in there from Edward. Bullet Time comes across as well. It's doing a good amount of damage. Yamato Cannon is falling very low. All of Dragonborns pretty much down to half HP. Diamond the only one that's super low as the laser flashes by him. Doesn't land to do the damage. This is inhibitor number 3 going to go down. We have super minions in there on the Nexus turrets themselves. And Gambit, they're not ready. Not just yet to finish this game.
Mission accomplished, though, for Gambit. I mean, Dragonborns at least put up the fight for that one. They had to fight them. If Dragonborns would have stayed in that fight for much longer, Gambit would have cleaned up, and that would have been the end of the game. So there's a minuscule chance that Dragonborns can hold this one off, because when all 3 inhibitors are down, you get an extra super minion in every single wave, and these are 3,500 health meat shields in, well, now 3,300 health at this stage in the game. 6 of them coming to the Nexus turrets at exactly the same time. Gambit can elixir up, they can do whatever they want. If they really wanted to, they could wait the 50 seconds and clean up a Baron. That's probably only if they want to dive on top of the Nexus and try to help their KDA, but this game looks like it's in hand.
It certainly looks that way. Yeah, they're trying to keep those super minions as far up the lane as they can there when they take them down, to stop them all joining up at once and having to defend them right on top of those of that Nexus. I was going to say inhibitors, but they're of course all gone by now. Randuin's Omen is finished here by Darien, by Genja on his last trip home. And you just think a matter of time here before Gambit and Genja, of course, get themselves into that perfect position. They're already starting to push those super minions straight through this middle line. And there we see the spider link going down, connecting in on towards Hosan, and they are going to start to work in here. They're going to wait for Alex, or will they?
Yeah, they only have 4 people here, but I wonder if they don't want to let him be involved in these fights. They're going for the turret. They're getting him down, no problem, so this might be the final fight.
First Nexus turret does go down. Alex is like, wait for me, guys. It could be important in this one. The rest of his team saying, nope, you're not getting no kills to get up that leaderboard. Here comes the laser out. Light binding was on Diamond. You hardly saw any health go away from him there. Here comes Alex from the side. There comes the bullet time across. They've not actually picked up a kill from it just yet. There is Yamato Cannon going down. Gambit not focusing the Nexus, or rather, yes they are. They're going to finish the game right here. They take down Dragonborns for our final game here of the European LCS Week 6.
What an awesome weekend. Gambit lost their first, came back strong in games 2 and 3 for them. Almost just a day in the office for them after this, playing in front of a huge crowd here in Lille, France. They had control throughout most of that game, really after the Dragon fight, Joe.
Yeah, really, really strong control that they had on it. And it was always going to be a hard game for Dragonborns, a hard weekend for them, in fact, with these standings coming in there. But we will be seeing more from Dragonborns and from Gambit in the future. For now, we're going to go over to our analysis desk with Jason and Ocelot.
Thank you, Joe and Jet. And yes, we are back on the analysis desk for the last time in week number 6. I am joined here by Ocelot. Ocelot, tell me, what did you think of that game? Just overall, real quick.
I think Dragonborns played better than we expected, and I think Dragonborns took a lot of Drake advantage and this and that. But I think Darien for M5, for Gambit was basically the backbone of it.
Okay, and what do you think of the picks? Because we did have Alex going head-to-head against a Zed on Yamato Cannon. What did you think of that matchup?
I think Zed is supposed to win the matchup, but we have to think about something. Alex was actually, he lost 2 waves because he had to defend the red buff. You remember? So it was a 5-0 situation, so that's